Samuel coming to me all the time. Daddy, what do you think about this? Well, why don't you go to Jesus? You can be seated, but we live in a time, like I said last night, that we got, even like with my son Samuel, he goes to school. Dad, what do you think? You think the world's 65 million years old? I don't know. I don't know, Samuel. Why don't you ask Jesus? Oh, that's foolishness. Why? Is it more foolish than me giving him an absolute because I'm nervous? Samuel doesn't need me to give him absolutes. He just needs me to make God real. He just needs me to make a space for God in our home. What does that mean? That means that I'm not the spirit of truth. What does that do? I'll tell you what it does. It breaks down the power. See, we all get freaked out in our culture about pluralism. How is the church not pluralistic? I mean, I go a lot of places, even among this group right here, if I wanted to, I could tick you off. And it wouldn't be that hard. It wouldn't be that hard. Because Christian, I couldn't believe this. I was at a prophetic conference recently, and I actually just said it. And I said it in such a beautiful way. I thought it was like untouchable. I just said, man, to be a prophetic people, we have to realize that Barack Obama was God's man. And we said in the name of God that McCain was God's man. And we said it in the name of God. We said it in the name of God. We said in the name of God that God told us that he was his man. And if we prayed hard enough, God would give us that man. Where is that in the Bible? Where is that in the Bible? Please show me where that is in the Bible. That it's our fault what happens with government. And so we have all these kids crying and complaining and frustrated and saying, I fasted and fasted and fasted, all because they did something that God never asked them to do. The job of a Christian isn't to figure out who the Antichrist is. The job of the Christian is to not be the Antichrist. The job of a Christian is not to figure out what's wrong with Barack Obama or George W. Bush in America. This is only the context of America. Sorry for all those of you that don't even care about this. Because you live somewhere else and you're not bound by our oppression that's holding us back from actually seeing Jesus. You should be able to see Jesus in anyone. And if you say, I can't see Jesus in anyone, really? Then why did you, it all feels fuzzy and all wuzzy and good and gooey when the guy gets killed and forgives his murderer? We do believe that Jesus won, don't we? We do believe he is the way, right? We don't believe like atheists that he was just up on a cross and he was the fool. We don't believe that he was the weak one, do we? We don't believe that he was weak. We don't believe that he was just weak and that's why he died on the cross. We do believe that was the victory.
Yeah, come on, amen.
We do believe that he showed us the actual way. We do believe Jesus could have gotten a pressure group. They were called the Pharisees. They were a political pressure group, and they would have loved him. They would have fought for him. They would have killed people for him. Do we understand? I mean, seriously, do we have a history? We should understand that that's what the Pharisees were. We should understand that they were a political, religious pressure group. And we should understand, even in simple terms, and be very careful and wary when we see people in our times say that our job as Christians is to become part of political pressure groups. Because I'll tell you that that's Antichrist. Jesus would have never done it. There's a power in poverty. There's a power in ultimate trusting in the Father for everything that breaks principalities and brings the authorities down to their knees. And at the same time in our world, there is a brewing frustration. I think there's a brewing frustration, especially among Christians today. Frustrated. Why? Because they lost. Get over it. Maybe you didn't lose. It has happened before in history that the people of God were actually wrong. There is a woman, I was just reading this, and then I'm done. There is a woman. The Spirit of truth is not the Spirit of truth unless it is both our advocate and our adversary. And what we want to make the Spirit of truth is the Spirit of truth is whatever I think. Guys, I hate abortion. I hate it. I lost a baby last year, and I cried my eyes out because I didn't understand why I would lose a baby. Why would we lose a baby? We want a baby. You know what I mean? Why would we lose a baby? I hate abortion. It has plagued our country. It is horrible. But just because I hate abortion doesn't mean that I want to make myself so evil and so vile and so absent of the Spirit of truth in my life that I can't see one thing in my president. I can't see Jesus at all. What does that make you? If your eyes are so blinded that you can't see Jesus in people, what is that? I don't want to become that. Do you? This isn't about voting or not voting or government or politics. This is about a disappointment in the American church that we actually think that we'd rule better. You make an oath. Do we even understand that? I'm just saying, if we're going to say the things we're going to say out of charismatic Christianity especially, and especially evangelical Christianity too, do we really think about what we're saying? When you become a president or a king or a ruler of any government anywhere, at some point in time, you become an adversary to Jesus and the gospel. There's no way around it. Jesus brings union. Jesus transcends. Jesus is love. So Jesus can go into all of this, and Jesus can befriend in any circumstance, under any situation. But eventually, if your loyalty and your allegiance is to this, you ever gone around a city? Go around this city and look at all the flags. You know, the American flag? And sometimes you'll see the Christian flag below it. Okay? I'm just saying, just so we all understand where we're at when we get into this, whole Christian thing, Just remember, flip it for one day. I dare you. Flip it for one day and put the Christian flag above the American flag at your church. If you really want to see what kind of world we live in, just do it. Go ahead. I dare you to do it. Now, you say, oh, you're meddling. Of course I am. I'm not angry. I'm not frustrated. I'm not upset. It's a joke. Wake up. We need to wake up. There it is. It's probably somebody calling to tell you, get out of that meeting. I'm just